right.
Okay, it looks like it's has connected. Let me double check on here and I'll tag you. Let's see. Boom, boom, and here we go. Edit and boom, 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 boom. Tagged. Okay, get off of the house. Okay, so we're here we are. We are live on Facebook and YouTube and
Excellent.
X. Yeah. And let me find you again. Okay, here we go. All right. So yeah, we got a little Mexico Japan connection going on.
Oops.
Bro-
Sorry, hang on a second there. That's on my YouTube channel.
you good?
Yep.
Yeah, so we've got a Mexico to Japan connection. We met this brother, Chris. Or do you want us to call you Crispy?
Call me Crispy. My middle
Crispy.
name starts with the letter P, but I've really been Crispy for a very long
Oh,
time.
Crispy. I
My
got
middle
you.
name
Okay.
starts with a P,
Yeah,
but
so
yeah.
we met you. Yeah, let me turn mine up. Yeah, we met this brother on the 36th episode. It was an open mic and it was great.
Right.
It was really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, it was really synchronistic. And
Was.
afterwards, we're trying to figure out, what do we want to do with the platform? What kind of conversations do we want to have? And I was talking to Morgan. She goes, that guy that came on, both of them were good.
Right.
But the one that came on and had the specific knowledge, and then, he'd be good to get on. I'm like, I don't know how to find him. So then I went to my messenger and then under message request, I see this message from Crispy, Chris
Right.
and something. I'm like, who's this guy? Click it on and it was you and you gave me your website. So I went to the website, which I still have pulled up. We'll take a look at it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I
I
want to
did.
take a look at it.
Yes.
And yeah, I thought, well, yeah, we've been talking about things in general.
Right.
But there has been your information and other information, Kali Yuga,
Yeah.
this whole period, March 21st, give or take, or whatever the case is. And I don't know, it hasn't been that long. I haven't talked to that many people, but it sure seems like something has really, really changed beyond any doubt. And does that mean we know what's going on or how to do things? Not necessarily, but I think what you have to offer is very important because we are connecting our aspects with our current aspects, you might say, with our human as a central command. And uh, like many people, you have brought in something that obviously you're connected to before you walked in the door, it seems like, anyway. Um, but yeah, so welcome to the show, Chris P. And
Very
I
much.
think
Todd Medina.
I think it'd be great to just let you kind of introduce us. Let me show everybody because they're not all on Facebook. Let me show
Right.
everybody real quick let me just pull it up. Um, the picture that I used without asking because you had told me in the message where the picture came from, and
Right.
and I thought it would because if I remember correctly, you actually constructed this. You made this.
Yes.
Okay.
I drew that. It, like I said in our brief one, episode 36 there, this happened to me. I felt like I was meditating and I was thinking about my birthday on the Mayan calendar. And the Maya don't teach it this way. They teach the grid form. They teach you to find your birthday on here and picture yourself.
Oh yeah, you showed us that one. I remember
Yeah,
that one. Yeah, it's
yeah,
kind of like almost like a table of elements looking thing.
yeah, it does. And it definitely has sort of a computer chip kind of pattern or something going on, which I can explain. But anyway, I was following a guided meditation about your birthday, finding where you are on that grid and walking back 7 steps and walking forward 7 steps. And I was not able to do that in my mind. And then I got this zap, this jolt of seeing myself inside the circular form, which is the other form. It's actually more common to be seen in the circular form, especially the Aztec stone, is circular. A lot of people call that the Mayan calendar, and it's a version of it. But I literally felt my right hand being tightly gripped and my left hand being caressed, like I eventually drew in this image here. And then it was gone in 1 second. And it was pretty much the freakiest thing that ever happened to me. I'm not a visual meditator. Like I don't imagine things well on guided meditations, for example. Like if someone says, picture a meadow with a stream, I don't see it. I can feel like I'm there, and sometimes I can hear little birds chirping, but I don't see the meadow or the stream. So this came through like a bolt of lightning to me. And, it's still there. And this was almost 8 years ago. And it took me quite a while to assemble things, like I have a full-time job here in Japan. I teach English at a university. I have a wife and 2 teenagers, so I'm a busy man. So it took me a while to assemble things. And I just made that website you saw about 9 months ago. It was actually summer solstice was the day it went online. So that was 9 months ago. And yeah, I've got a book that's ready. I have sent it to a couple publishers. And the thing is, it's really long. And oh geez, look at that. We got matching mugs here, dude. That's great. Let me give you a little cheers to that. I'm drinking my cacao.
Cacao. I wish I had some cacao. I'm drinking black coffee. Old black coffee.
Black coffee. Well, it's like a brother. Cacao is the sister plant in a way to coffee. So yeah, anyway, what ended up coming through, gradually more information came through as I, put it down 7 years ago, 8 years ago. And the thing that really came through strongly is that those 2 positions are my divine masculine guide showing me how to be my divinely masculine and my divine feminine guide. And therefore, every single human being has divine masculine and divine feminine in us, which, has been whispered about here and there in some other teachings. I think there's some people who even say that Yeshua taught that. There's a quote in the Gospel of Thomas where Yeshua says, when you make the 2 into the 1, and when you make the male into the female, you are whole, or you are ready to enter the kingdom of heaven, basically. And, that got squished by the Catholics and Christians and everything. And, our society doesn't really talk about a single person being a blend of male and female. Men are supposed to go out and do this, and women are supposed to do this, and that was up until maybe 100 years ago. And then the whole, the women's lib movement came in, which was great, crucial, necessary. And it kind of forced a lot of women into being their masculine, to going out and working and, being the moneymaker and everything, which was a necessary swing of the pendulum. But what I'm saying is just stop the swing. Everyone has male and female energy, which, in realistic sense, so does God. God can't be male or female. God has to be both, right? As an entity, as an energy. So that's what's coming through my teachings, I think, more than other typical Mayan teachings, and certainly most other systems. You certainly can't find anything like this in regular astrology. They don't tell you, your divine feminine or divine masculine. So I think I'm providing a real kind of, it's like a springboard into a new perception about each of our own abilities. And then what I wanted to do with you and your wife was, because we're all on the circle like this, the person stays the same, and then each day just rotates the circle a little bit. So the pattern is always the same for everyone, but there's different tones, we call them. It's the tonal, and that's in the teaching of the tonal and the nagual. That comes from Carlos Castaneda, those terminologies. The Maya use more of the word nagual, but the Aztecs and the Toltec, and they use tonal and nagual, and I call it tones. And the 13 tones came through to be connected with the chakras like this. That was like the second vision I saw. So I teach the chakras. Now, we do know that the Maya knew about the chakras. In the first book by Hunbat's Men, he said, there's a lot of information in here, but the Maya knew the word for Kundalini and chakras. But then I think we all know history, and the Spanish came in and burned and destroyed everything they possibly could. So there's no information of how the Maya used the chakras. And so I teach this, and I don't know if it's totally true or not, but it just seems quite logical, first of all. So I do teach the chakras, and I don't think anyone else is teaching the chakras with Mayan astrology. If you went to a Mayan astrologer, some other day keeper. So go ahead.
Let me ask you this, because I want to get into this and see, because what you're showing us, obviously it's new to me.
Yeah.
So this happened to you like around 8 years ago.
Yep.
And I probably asked you this on the other show, but I don't have any memory. Plus, people may not have seen it. But so up to that point 8 years ago, were you immersed in Mayan and Castaneda and so on? And then basically, at some point, you have a download, and you
Great
just
question.
start to write everything out and design everything. And I
Yeah.
would imagine apply everything in your own life.
Right.
So can you then now, well, whatever you want to talk about, but get into what that wheel is,
Yeah.
and the thing with the chakras, and if that doesn't cover it all in terms of what your remix is, what the
Yep.
spin is, because I do think that I really appreciate your modesty in saying, I don't know if I'm right about this, which is a really, really profound statement. But at the same time, spending years and years talking to people and absolutely, totally respecting their reality and what am I trying to say? The value of
Right.
their channel, basically. I mean,
Right.
this is memories coming into our physical embodiment.
Yeah.
So
I
with that,
agree.
I'll give it back to you. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, a little history then. Back in 1998, I was living in Vancouver, and I had a regular job, but I was also a DJ, and I was doing these little parties, 300 people or whatever, and a couple of the guys I DJ'd with knew about the Mayan calendar already, and they said, "Hey, come do a workshop on the weekend. Our friends are coming over to teach it." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So This was back in May of 1998. And they taught it, this couple, this man and woman, and it totally fucking blew me away. You know, I went and got my Mayan birthday tattoo a couple days later. You know, I was like hooked. And then I started teaching it at raves, okay? I would have a little Mayan booth over in the corner of the rave, and the whole rave is like, ah, and people are sitting down with me, and I'm doing their Mayan astrology into 98, 99. And then my girlfriend and I decided to go to Mexico. I don't know if you remember the whole Y2K potential, you know, financial breakdown and everything. We sold everything we owned, and we went to the Burning Man, September 1st through 5th or whatever it was. Then we carried on down. We were living in Vancouver. We carried on down into Mexico, and we were standing on Teotihuacan on September equinox, and we went all over Mexico in the next 7 months. You know, Palenque, I did a ceremony at the steps of the Temple of Inscriptions in Palenque on winter solstice 1999, which is 13 years to the day before the end of the 2012 cycle, which is December 21st, 2012. I was at Chichen Itza for the spring equinox cycle, ceremony of the year 2000. And then we went back to Vancouver. And about a year later, I met this Japanese woman, and we fell in love on the first meeting. And eventually I moved to Japan in 2003. And, I'm newly married and teaching English and having babies and things. And so the Maya went into the background. Nobody here was interested, and I just lost focus on the Maya. And then I was teaching elementary school and junior high for 6 years. And then I got my MA and started teaching university in 2009. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to teach them their Mayan birthdays. So in 2009, I started getting back into the Maya. Just doing all of my students one day a year, one day in our class, semester, I'd put up a website that I used to like and get everyone to do their Mayan birthday and translate it into Japanese, and we'd talk about it for one day a year. So I was doing that, and I wasn't following it every day myself yet. And then someone mentioned to me on Facebook this other cool website they liked on the Maya. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. There's these other guides, because I had basically forgotten about the 4 extra, it's called the Mayan cross sometimes, or the Mayan tree of life, or the Mayan destiny path. But everyone has your birthday. You're born on a glyph and a tone, okay? So everyone is one of these glyphs, and everyone is one of the tones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then down to 13. And I basically forgot about the other guides for a long time. Then I was doing more studies into it. And like I said, the Maya teach this grid form that you should find your birthday and count back and forward and stuff. And I just couldn't get it for years. I was trying to just imprint this into me, and it didn't work. And then I had that sort of breakthrough, zap. And that was in 2017. And then I was like, whoa, this is serious. And it was kind of funny because I actually told a couple of authors whose books I have, and some of them are on Facebook. And I said, I just had this incredible thing happen. Look at this. And nobody was interested. they got their thing, they do it their way, and that's fine. So I decided this is valid, and then I went in and I designed my own glyphs. You know, the Mayan system, as you might know, was from maybe northern Mexico all the way down to Costa Rica. So we're talking over 3,000 miles, and the time frame is 3,000 years. So there's infinite varieties to the shape of the glyphs, and even the color. Some places in Guatemala uses different colors than these. But I went with the Yucatan around the time of the conquest. When the Spanish came, these were the colors and the pretty close to the glyph shapes being used. So I designed all of these that I was comfortable with, and then, started teaching this. And shortly after I began, I had this vision, so that every tone is connected to a chakra. And this has also, this time frame, this is 13 days long, and with the pyramid and the wave, that is also being taught in a couple of books. So I didn't create that, but the chakra colors just fell in one day while I was reading this other fellow's book, and it just hit me, again. So I teach it, and I do feel it's valid. And so what that means is, on your birthday, here, I showed you this last time. I call this the Da Vinci Codex. Instead of this being a little bit too much information, perhaps, I simplify it. So when I do a reading for someone, I customize this for them and this for them, and they get about 20 pages of information about what each of these means. So here's myself. This is tone 7, and I'm the eagle. And tone 7 is way up here. But I also have tone 1, 2, 12, and 13. So we all have numerous influences that go into our personality. And as I mentioned, these are the divine masculine and divine feminine. And this is a childhood energy, and this is a future energy. Basically up to age 13 and basically after age 52, these two have more effect on your life. A person will always be their Mayan birthday, the day they're born, but in the childhood, this has more of an effect, and in later adulthood, this has more of an effect. So if you think that age 13 is sort of like the becoming of age time, a lot of cultures have that. Then you've got from, let's say, 13 to 39, like 26 years. By the time you're 39 or so, you've had this 26-year period of getting married and having children and balancing out those male and female energies. And then from around 39 up to 52, this future energy comes in. And when you turn 52, all of them come in and, empower you. The Maya call your 52nd birthday becoming a full entity or a whole being or a complete human. Again, the translations are a little bit varied. But they do say that when you turn 52, you're a whole being, because you've integrated the lessons. So what I also do for couples is I do their 2 of these, and I show them how they overlap, right? Which can be extremely, if people have the same glyphs or the same tones, it's pretty powerful. And in fact, that's what happened to me. after I drew out all the patterns, which took quite a while, took like a year basically to draw out all of the patterns, I was looking at myself and my wife, and I went, holy shit. I think I've got that one here. It's a little harder to see because I put my kids on here too. But my wife is my divine masculine guide, and therefore I am her divine feminine guide. Now, a lot of guys would be like, oh, that's weird, man. It should be the other way. You should be her divine masculine. No. we don't get to do these things the way we want.
It actually makes more sense. I've never heard something like that, but it actually makes more sense the way you're explaining it, or the way it is for you and your wife. Keep going.
Yeah. I can I share my screen here? Then I can show it a little better.
Yeah, hang on a second. Let me set it up.
Right.
Okay. All right. Bingo.
Good. Okay. I should be able to share. Yeah. Share screen. Okay, cool. All right. There's my YouTube channel. Close that. So once I realized the pattern that she was my divine masculine and I am therefore her divine feminine, it really just blew me away. So here's me, 7 eagle, and my wife is tone 5. I'll bring this up. A bar is 5. So she is empowering offering. And I got her over here. I have tone 1 here. So it's a 1 out of 20 chance that her glyph is here, right? So that's a 5% chance that her glyph would be there. It's not her tone. So if it were her tone and glyph, that would be 1 out of 260 chance, randomness. But it's 1 out of 20 chance that her glyph is here. And it also took me a while. I'm almost a little bit, ashamed to say it, but it took me a while to realize that. Therefore, I'm the eagle, am her divine feminine guide. So automatically, whoever is your divine masculine guide, you are their divine feminine guide, and vice versa. And that's the pattern that's woven into this system. It's really quite incredible. And then here's my kids. My son is also in my chart. Okay, this is my son. So a little bit more, I have to learn from my son things about femininity, all right? And therefore, he gets to learn about masculinity from me, which is a little bit more normal in the way people think about things. But what I'm kind of more interested in, Todd, is finding out about you, for example. And we can go on my site, and I can put you in there.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to absorb everything. Can I just ask you a couple of questions so we can get a little clarification?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I think the first thing to mention is I know you brought in some things that were unique to you. I like to call it the remix. Like we're remixing Buddha, we're remixing Jesus.
Like I said, I was a DJ, so I'm cool.
You're a DJ. Okay. So, but number one,
yep.
It sounds like the impetus or the most powerful part of your download was the thing with the hands, the masculine holding absolutely. One and the other. Okay. Yeah. So that I just wanted to kind of make sure everyone knew. And then and not to go too deep because I really feel like you got it going here. These icons or symbols that are around the individual,
commonly
they
called
are all
glyphs.
Glyphs?
Like
glyphs. Okay. So these glyphs.
Yeah.
It looks to me like obviously they're all different from each other.
Yeah. Yep.
yet there is some commonality in terms of color, and then
Yes.
and then they also have these tones. So there's a mix in there. It's not just 20 possibilities. It's more than
There's
that.
there's
Okay.
260 types of people,
Okay. Got you. Okay.
but
Oh,
that breaks down to 20 types. There are 20 of these glyphs
okay.
and 13 of the tones.
Okay.
So if you want to get it real simple, there's 13 types of people or tones. And tone means like a note as well, like
Right.
a musical note. Um,
So
and
13 times 20, and there you have it right there. Right.
260.
Okay,
And
I got you. Okay. All right.
that's
Keep going. Thank you.
that's how many days are in the calendar, right? So in the big picture, there's 260 types of people. And the more advanced Mayan astrologers will also break that down because of the time of day you were born. There's basically the four times of day, the sunrise times and the noon and the sunset and the midnight. And that's what these colors actually represent. So blue means sunset or dusk, all right? And it's west as a direction, and autumn, fall as a season, and it's the emotional body. So there's the four bodies, the four colors, the four directions, the four seasons, the four times a day. Yellow is summer and fire, the element of fire, and the direction of south, and the thinking body or the mental body or the psychological, thoughts being primary for people who are born on a yellow glyph. Red is the physical body, and it's east, and it's sunrise. And what else? Yeah, physical, east, sunrise. And then white is north and the midnight time of day, and the spiritual body. So you being born on one of these have more of that energy. We all do have all four, and I do teach that as well. When I do a reading for someone, I tell them how they're connected to all four. I can show you that later, but let's stay focused for now. And now you'll notice that I am blue and I've got red right here. All right, so I am west and I've got east. I am water element and I've got earth element for my two main guides, and I've got blue up here. I didn't really talk about these too much, but this again, past wisdom guide, childhood up to age 13, and the future vision guide. So whatever color you are born on, you have that same color for the past and the future. And then you could say like the opposite, east and west, and then north and south. If you're yellow, you're going to have white here, and yellow for there and there.
Hmm.
So it's a pretty complex but simple pattern once you get used to it. So why don't I put your birthday in here, Todd?
Okay.
I know you sent them to me, but I didn't write them down.
Which one do you want first?
Let's go with your wife then. It's kind of easier to
Okay.
look at someone else in a way.
She's March the 10th,
Yep.
1967.
Okay.
March the 10th, 1967.
1967, March 10th. So for anyone using my site, you put the date in here, it gives you a nice little calendar. Then you click submit. You have to click submit or it just stays on today. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all, today is my Mayan birthday.
Holy crap, are you serious?
I'm totally serious, dude. I woke up this morning, feeling excited, feeling great. Went to my computer,
Uh,
and I opened up my Facebook, and there was you saying, "Hey, do you want to do this today?" So here's this month, and oh, I'm ahead of you by one day, by the way. And this won't expand up for me, but here's us on the 23rd, because I'm in Japan, so it's Sunday
right,
for me.
right.
And
Okay.
I had the same Mayan birthday as these people right here.
Okay, I
Deborah
got
Harry,
you.
Debbie Harry, Ram Dass, Ringo Starr, and Rhonda Byrne. So yeah, anyway, um, let's press submit on your wife. Okay, so there she is. So she
That's
is
her.
called Understanding Gaia. All right. So what
Whoa.
that means is she
Now
is
wait, let me see now.
12.
Okay, so over here, can you go back out?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Uh, so I can see the screen. Yeah.
Yep,
So you said, okay, first, because we're learning all of it through her right
yep,
now. So,
yes.
so the first thing is that the same thing as when you said you were the whatever eagle, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, I got you. So
That's
that's what's at her feet?
yes, she's
Okay.
standing on her birthday. All right.
Okay, got you.
And this is the image that's transferred to me through that. So I don't mess with it. And I tell people, you were born standing on your birthday.
Mm.
So what she's standing on is called understanding. And what that means is tone 12. All right. Now, in my system, originally, I thought it was only the sacral chakra. But after about a year, I realized it was also the third eye chakra.
Oh, wow. So the
So she,
sacral and the
yep,
third eye, what a combination.
yes, I know.
That's
And like I
sexy.
said,
That's sexy, but she is.
she's got a bunch of other ones here we'll talk about. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is her Mayan birthday, understanding Gaia. Now the Maya don't use the word Gaia; they call it Earth. In some places they call it earthquake,
Mm,
and in some places they call it movement, and in other places they call it thought.
mm.
And I just put those all together and said, okay, it's Gaia because in, the bigger picture, before Earth even existed, Gaia as an entity was a thought or a spiritual being that came into this planet, and it's like we're living her dream, you know. We are
Yes.
all thoughts in her reality. So I decided to go with the word Gaia. Now, tone 12 is understanding. So that's her Mayan birthday. And then I list the keen number, and that shows where she is on this grid. All right. So that's her right there, but that's really kind of esoteric knowledge. But out of 260 days, she's the 77th day, and that's what
Mm.
that keen 77 means. So I'll talk about the pattern a little more here. With her past wisdom, we've got 4 as her tone, which is called stabilizing. Divine feminine, we've got 5, 1 bar, which is
Mm.
called empowering. Divine masculine, 6, which I portray as being technically upside down. And I'll come to that later.
That makes sense.
All right. So for her,
Technology. Yeah.
and
Go
the
ahead.
glyph here, the glyph is the monkey. So her masculine is, I'm just going to go out on a branch here and saying her masculine, her outer face, her public energy, her
Mm.
yang energy is a little bit of a show off. She's artistic, creative, playful, and she's not afraid to be in the public eye. That's what I'm feeling here.
Mm.
Is that working?
Does that work?
Yeah, for her personality.
Uh, well, she is artistic. What was the
Yeah.
other thing you said? Artistic and what?
Well, creative.
Oh
They
yeah,
are
yeah. Very
performers.
creative. The only thing that doesn't jive is
Yeah.
she likes being in the public eye, but
Okay.
that doesn't that doesn't let's see the rest of it. Let's go.
Yep. Yep. Okay. So 4, like I said, with the past, 5 with the feminine, and then we've got the dusk, which is very dreamy. Um, there's a lot of vision, and
Mm,
so in her inner self, the yin energies, she's a dreamer.
mm.
But this tone 5 is empowering. She wants to help other people.
Yes.
Her inner self, her feminine energy is helpful, maybe with dreams, helping people realize their dreams, for example. So 4, 5, 6 for the masculine, and 7 for her future vision. And this is the crown chakra in combination with the serpent. Now I'm going to go down and press the Da Vinci Codex because it's a little easier to see. Here's all the exact same things, but the glyphs are upright, okay?
Okay.
On the
Yeah.
other one, you had the angles, and so that's why I show them this way. The 7, the serpent, does represent the chakras to the Maya, the serpent. And the 7 represents the Pleiades and also the 7 chakras. So she's got like a double dose of chakra energy here. Kundalini energy will have been more in effect after age 52, which was about 5 years ago for her. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Boom.
So that's what this chart is saying in general. Now I'm going to take a little screenshot here, or just a partial, and then I want to put yours in, unless you got questions about this one for me.
No, it's very interesting. I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, I'm looking at these closer. I don't know if everybody can see them, but these gifts are incredible. And then the tones,
Yeah,
um, and even like that with her, what was it, the crown, that
yes,
one,
yeah,
just the reflecting serpent, like, and then
yeah,
the tie to the Pleiades, and then the
yeah,
7 thing.
yeah.
That all kind of jives. Yeah.
This is a super high energy glyph, you know. And the other thing I tell my clients when I do their charts for them is who was born on this day,
Mm.
right? So I can check that right now if you're interested.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Let's see what
let
that'd
me
be
go into
interesting.
my big doc here. Um, Come on, open up.
Now, is this on the birthday Gregorian or the birthday Mayan? That
Well, we all use the Gregorian as a reference point. So
right,
where her what day the Mayan calendar was, like I showed you this here, right?
right.
So this is March of 2025, and these are the Mayan calendar dates, and these go back 5,000 years.
Mm.
You can find out, you know, a long time ago what day it was. And they keep going into the future too. And that was one of the big kerfuffles about the 2012 date. The Maya never said it was the end of time. It was the end of many cycles converging on that one day. But, the media turned it into this big fear tactic about kind of like Y2K, but way more advanced.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what I just told you was the day, her birthday on the Gregorian, what it was on the Mayan, which was understanding Gaia. So let me get back into that, go down and find out who
Okay.
her same
Let me
Mayan
just
birth.
let me answer a quick comment here, question.
Absolutely.
For uh we're gonna go to we he has it pulled up, I have it pulled up too. So before the end of this show, we're gonna go to the website and get that information. So you'll have the URL address and whatever
Yeah,
else
yeah,
you need from it.
indeed, indeed. So look at this, Charles Eisenstein. Have you heard about him lately?
I've heard the name, but I can't place it.
He did a couple of books like I'm riffing here. I don't have it cataloged, but something about um, sacred money.
Okay.
And then he also writes about the earth and Gaia, which is interesting because he's the
Well,
same Mayan birthday as your wife. And he writes about the earth. And then Margaret Mead, I think you probably know about
yes.
her legacy. So
Yeah.
those are the same people on the same Mayan birthday as your
Well,
wife. And, I tell them, everyone, for all of their Mayan, for their guides as well. I think, though, we should move back to you. We're going to spend a lot of time on the wife, but I want to also put yours in here now. Oh, and I just, one other thing. Um, on each birthday, there's 4 pages you can check. The first one is you in the circle, just like I was. Yeah, we're good. Right? So the first one is this. The second one is this. And the third one is this page. And it's about 1 paragraph of what tone 12 means and what Gaia means. And it talks about the red glyphs being east and sunrise and spring and earth and the physical body. So that's like a little snapshot. And then, called the full key codes, that shows you every key code word for tone 12 and Gaia. So you got a lot of energy here. And then I create these little things in the middle, which I call high vibration code phrases, which combines something from the tone and something from the glyph. So you can see here, interconnection, interconnecting, and then the web of life. So interconnected web of life. That's how the 12 combines with the glyph of the Gaia. As if they were 2 different threads coming together to weave a garment. This is part of the energy of that. So everyone, you can see those 4 pages with any birthday. So let's put your birthday in here, Todd.
December 9, 1961.
Okay, 61. December 09. All right, here we go. Pressing submit. All right, there it is. Balancing solar chief. All right, so instantly, I'm telling you, you are fiery and you like to be in the public eye, balancing on your rollabola. That's why I put the little rollabola there. Yellow is the mind, okay? And the solar chief is the 20th out of 20 glyphs, right? So it's a little bit like the culmination of all the glyphs coming together, even though it still retains its yellow color. Now, the glyph itself is a tribal mask, all right? And so again, balancing is tone 6, and family is important to the tone 6. The solar chief is the hunter, the warrior, the hero, the storytellers. They do the tribal aspects of the community, all right? Very powerful glyph, okay? And so let's take a look at your 4 guides. Going to your past, we've got 11, which I also show as a double stacked rollabola. Now, in a lot of people's childhood, if they have this energy here, they are either brilliant show-offs and really great at anything they try, or they experience a lot of failures, as it were, maybe more than other tones being in this position. Tone 11, if you look in any book on the Maya, they all say that tone 11 is the wild card. It's the most challenging of any of these tones to be born on. It also provides the most possible potential for launching, So people who can negotiate this childhood of being on the double-stacked rollabola, as it were, go on to great things, okay? And then the traveler is, let's just go over to the Da Vinci so we can see the glyphs a little better. The traveler is a happy camper, but it's also a person who is on a quest. They want ascension, basically. Now, if this was your birth glyph,
I missed all that. My internet
okay.
cut out.
Okay, okay.
Can you repeat that, traveler?
Absolutely. The traveler is your glyph here of your childhood, your first 13 years. And basically, they are
Mm-hmm.
the happy camper of all 20 glyphs. They're sunny, they like to chit chat, they like to travel. And if this were your birth glyph down here, it would evolve into a quest for ascension. They're on a traveling quest. Here, being in your childhood, it's more of a playful, you know, like a happy camper. And then combined with this tone 11 adds the wild card element to it. So resolving is the tone, and that means you need to make a resolution. Like you gotta be promising yourself to achieve your goals. That's what the term resolving means. It's kind of a heavy energy for a kid. Is any of that coming through for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does actually.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Now let's look over at your divine feminine. Right away, we've got 12, which is your wife's tone.
Mhm.
So she's got 12 here for herself, her core self. And you've got 12 as your divine feminine. So that's connecting you two in a very tight way. Understanding, again, is the tone 12. Reincarnation is your glyph here. Now, this glyph, a lot of the Maya just call it death. They just, death, yep. They don't fancy it up with the word reincarnation. However, they believe in reincarnation. They don't believe in death as an ending of any
Mm.
kind. They also see that we go through stages in life, and that when you finish with one thing or job or city, it's like a death and being reborn into your next job or girlfriend or city. So that energy for you in your divine feminine, which is your yin, your inner self, is talking about really understanding that there's endless transgressions and endless change in a person's life. So I feel like inside you don't resist changes. I feel like you're comfortable with, you know, something new getting thrust on you that you have to deal with. And I feel like you're just kind of mellow with it.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've tried to have less change lately, but I
Sure.
get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's more of a respite,
Yeah,
that we've been going through.
absolutely. Well, this energy is very calm here, this glyph
Mm.
of reincarnation. These people, like if this were your birth sign, they're often the mellowest people. And
Mm.
they do get into things like hospice care and nursing, and they might
Mm.
have death around them in their lives, and they're just mellow with it. They don't resist it. So that's what I'm feeling coming through for you here. So 11 in the childhood, 12 in the feminine, that means 13 as your divine masculine and the jaguar shaman, dude. Okay. So
What is that?
your divine masculine, when you are out in public, you are a transcending jaguar shaman. Whoa. That's making the hair on my arm stand up here, bro.
What
You're
does it
wearing
mean?
white right now, too.
Oh, wow.
You're wearing white right now, too.
Mm.
So that's part of your public persona, is this
Mm.
energy. Now, I will tell you right away that the one person I know whose birthday is this position is Edgar Casey,
Oh, wow.
the sleeping prophet. All right. So he was going into the astral and the Akashic records and doing readings for people and, healing them. So you've got part of that energy as your public persona, my friend.
Mm.
And I think that's pretty damn cool.
Hmm. Wow.
Now, for your future vision guide, which, as I say, around age 39 starts to come in, and then by age 52, you've kind of really locked in this energy here. And for you, it's called initiating starseed. I am not the only person calling this glyph starseed, by the way. Some Mayan people also call this glyph starseed. All right. Even though it's so trendy, and I love calling it starseed. And tone one is this very powerful, it pushes all the rest of this energy up the pyramid. And it's the root chakra, which is full groundedness into yourself, right?
Hmm.
And then the star seed is, you can see the glyph, right? It's very balanced, very harmonious. It's got the 4 and the 2 fours, so it's got the 8
Hmm.
woven into the glyph itself. And so this energy going out in all directions means you're shining your light and you can't turn it off. And you don't like to play favorites. Like you'll shine your light anywhere, and you don't hide it from certain places, and
Hmm.
that's part of the energy of the star seed.
Wow.
And initiating is the starting and the that you know pushing things, creating things into existence.
Hmm. Wow.
So pretty cool energy there. Now, I'm going to screenshot this, and I can put up you and your wife together and look at the similarities. Now, because she's red and you're yellow, you're not going to have any glyphs the same, because
Right.
all red people have blue and red, and all yellow people have white and yellow. So you won't have any glyphs that are the same. But let's look at your tones. Like I said, she's 12 and you've got 12. Oh, yeah, that automatically means that you are tone 6, balancing, and she has tone 6 for her masculine. So right there, we've got a huge connection between you two. You are 6. She's got 6 as her masculine. She is 12. You've got 12 as your feminine. So that's it,
Wow.
man. You
That's
guys are
trippy,
tight.
man.
You guys are tight. She looks to
Yeah.
you. She's going to want to act like you when she goes out to do her public thing. And when you get mellow and quiet, you are like her. And it's the
Mm.
energy of understanding.
Wow.
So that's what I'm telling you, man. This system, like again, both my arms are just freaking out. The hair is standing up here. The the connections in these patterns are just, there's nothing else on earth that's like this. You
Mm.
cannot find this any other way. And it was inside the Mayan calendar, and no one had quite brought it out like this before. And I'm bringing it out, man.
Wow.
Um, let's see what else we got here. 11, 12, 13, 1. So yeah, that's almost the only thing. That's it. Yeah, she's got 4, 5, 6, 7. And you've got 11, 12, 13, 1. So that's it. You've got the masculine and feminine between you two, permanently connecting your masculinity and her femininity. Oh, that's it.
Damn.
Yeah. So it's
Wow.
tight, man. You guys have that super tight connection.
Mm. Yeah. It's blessed.
It is. Yep.
Now, just for the full thing here, I mean, like, so when
Yeah.
you do something for someone,
Yeah.
they're gonna get the images, but they're also gonna get,
Yeah.
I think you said 20 pages with the detail. Is
It's
that right?
about 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'll do is I'll show you an example of one of my readings. Now I'll have to pick one that somebody I know who would not mind me. Let me see here. Boo, 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 boo. Okay, let me find her because I did hers on YouTube for her, so I can show you her reading. There she is. All right. So I do an introductory page talking about the Mayan calendar, some of the same images here. And then here she is. I made this up for her. And then it explains she's a tone 1. And it explains a couple pages about what tone 1 means. And then here's her glyph. It explains all about her glyph. And then we come to the guides. So I show her, she's got 6 here and what that means combined with this. And I create phrases for each person. Here's her phrases for this one position. And that's kind of the only thing that I do that's totally different from other Mayan astrologers. Like, you can go to websites, or you could go to, you could even go to Guatemala and tell them your birthday, and they'll give you a report that's not really customized. Anyone with that same birthday, they would give the same report to.
Oh, I got you.
But I make these customized phrases for each person, for each of their positions. So that's 15 phrases. Now, here's what I was talking about with the 4 elements. This is how it works. She was born here, and this is your divine feminine, right? But she was born on this glyph, and so the way the 4 elements works is like this. So she's got these to complement her yellow and whiteness. She's got these red and blue. So this energy is about her physical kind of body, and her emotional body is the monkey. So again, very playful and creative as her emotional element. So I tell everyone a huge amount of information, maybe even a little bit too much information. And then after I email them their report, then we set up a time for the Zoom, and I explain any questions that they have. So I think I'm about ready to stop sharing, unless you have any other specific questions.
No, I'm good.
All right, so let's stop sharing and carry on the chat.
So, okay. So this ancient and remix system
Yeah,
in real-time intel is actually something that you can look at every day
yeah,
throughout. Okay, so there's information of what's showing up or what's in the
yes,
field.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
And is there because of the timing,
Yeah,
where we're at right now, March 20th, they're about 22, 23.
yeah,
And with everything that's been said about the importance of this period, almost like it's the point of the poles flipping, flipping.
yeah,
How does it relate to a collective, this is the state of the union right now,
yeah,
or
yeah.
or what can you talk about? And I know you did a little bit the other day, but in terms of what's happening right now, because with so many different things that we've had out there over the years in these communities, there are some different narratives and this and that. Yours
Oh, yeah.
feels very uh, kind of like that top part of the image where you have that kind of like the guides, the past,
Yep.
the present, future kind of thing.
Yes.
It seems like you're pulling all of them in. Can you talk about the collective aspect of it?
Right. Well, what I will say is this, first of all. What I'm showing here, this calendar, is not connected to the stars or the planets or anything, okay? So it's totally different from Western astrology based on the zodiac and, where is Saturn and where is Pluto and this, none of that. So it's this pattern that I think y'all may have recognized that it's DNA, okay? It also happens to completely fit perfectly into the precession of the equinoxes. So it's a 26,000 year long pattern made up of 36,000 of these. The precession of the equinoxes is 36,000 of these, all right? So the Maya are not looking at little cycles here. Your birthday is on here, and it shows you how it reflects the greater whole. It's like the micro macro. And the other thing I should mention is when I do a reading for someone, they get a 1-year calendar. No matter what month they do a reading from me, they'll get the next 12 along with that, so 13 months. And really what it represents to me is like, to quote another Yeshua saying, if you're following this, it's like you're being in the world but not of it. This takes your mind out of all of the bullshit that's going on. If you look at the date, I should share my screen before I do that, but if you look at today's date, you say reflecting eagle. All right, that's the crown chakra. And the eagle flies around looking at everything from above. I see. And if you happen to be born on a tone 7 day, you go, today is my day to be on the top of the pyramid and to look around, If you happen to be an eagle, then you say, today is my day. So there's all these repeating cycles. Every 13 days is your day, So you're tone 6 here, Todd. That's today for you. I'm 1 day ahead of you because I'm in Japan, but I'm on tone 7. So today is your tone day, right? And then you look at the glyph and you find out, here's my glyph day. So every 20 days is your glyph day, and every 13 days is your tone day. So it just pulls you out of being stuck in one point of view, thinking the only perspective is the Gregorian calendar, which is Roman Catholic, as we all know. And the Roman Catholics, via the Spanish, went to Mexico with the unholy mission to search and destroy.
Yeah.
They tried to destroy the Maya. Their goal was to convert them all to Christianity, Catholicism, destroy their culture, but they didn't. The Mayan culture, I mentioned in our first little chat, episode 36, this calendar comes from the Pleiades.
Wow.
Okay? I've got a couple of videos about that on my channel. I've got all the resources. This comes from the Pleiades, all right? We're now waking up. Part of the change that's happening now is we're waking up to the fact that we are part of a huge galactic community. There are other people in other solar systems waiting for us to wake up. And I feel this calendar is part of that. The Gregorian Roman Catholic calendar is not a balanced calendar.
No, I think most of us probably have understood that a long time, but extracting ourselves from it is a different thing. But I do think that like things like what you're introducing or reintroducing here, the old the old breadcrumbs that we left, the
Yes.
data that we left, and then
Yeah, yeah.
reapplying it in a contemporary field.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. I personally have transcended my feelings of resentment and frustration and hate or fear or whatever towards the Gregorians.
mm,
I do consider them to be reptilian, all right?
mm,
And I think they came in with the intent of controlling humanity through fear about 2,500 years ago. I think
mm,
they took over the Jewish religion at the time, and then through their Roman escapades, they took over the area where Yeshua was born, for example. And then they killed Yeshua, like Romans killed, you know?
mm.
And then they took his religion and said, now this is our religion, and here's the Bible. And like it's all just negative stuff with little blips of light and love.
Right.
There's still, the potential for transcendence through Christianity or Catholicism. But overall, it tells humanity, first of all, massive division between male and female.
Hmm.
And that's what the purpose of the Garden of Eden myth is. It's to divide male against female,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Make men like, oh, she ate the apple and she convinced me to eat it and now we're all suffering and we're original sin. Like it's such a horrible framework. It's
Mm,
so evil. And it's so functionally good at, controlling people.
mm.
And this is the opposite. This is like you are a sacred holy being composed of divine feminine and divine masculine energy.
Mm,
Yay! And it's from the Pleiades, right? So this just blows away their whole game.
mm.
And once you embrace that, you just go, ah, right. And they were serving a purpose.
Yeah.
They put on the dark, even the Pleiadians. So are you familiar at all with any of the Pleiadian channeling?
A little bit with Barbara
Barbara
Marciniak, and
Marcinian.
also from my wife,
Yeah,
which I don't know if it's come in all the time as officially. Yeah, sometimes
yeah,
it
yeah.
has, but no, I
Right on.
mean, I am familiar with the Pleiadian energy, and the funny thing
Yeah,
is, I
yeah.
think I told you this the other day, and it even happened again with my wife's nap this afternoon and the lucid dream she had. There was a
Ooh.
Pleiadian part of it, and over the last few days, there seems to be something about that right
Yeah,
now.
for
And
sure, for
I
sure.
I think the sequential aspect and the synchronicity of everything right now
Yeah,
is also speaking to us beyond the words and everything. So yeah, I really feel that pull. I really
definitely.
do.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Barbara Marciniak, basically the first Pleiadian channel. Her first book was 1992, so 33 years ago. And like
Mm,
she laid it all out there, man. She said in that book, the concept of twin flame is you having divine masculine and divine feminine in yourself.
mm.
33 years ago, she's telling people that. And
33 years ago. Did y'all hear
yeah,
that,
dude,
people?
1992. I got it.
He's telling us this on 322.
All right.
Yeah,
I've got it right here, man.
right on.
Um, I quote her in numerous of my videos because I'm totally in love with her. And by the way, she is solar chief, just like you.
Mm,
She's tone seven. You're tone six, solar chief. She's tone seven.
mm.
I should tell you who your.
Morgan's tone 7, I think, wasn't she?
She had that for her future vision guide.
She
She's got
was
seven serpent for her future vision guide.
okay.
And she's 12,
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, and
core
then I
self.
had the 12 over there. Yeah, I got
You
that.
got
Yeah.
12 as your feminine, and she's
Isn't
got.
that crazy? That
Yeah,
my
dude, the
feminine
patterns.
incarnate is a 12 and my feminine
It's
internally
a
is a
six.
12
Yeah, yeah,
and
it's a
vice
12.
versa. And yeah,
Yeah.
and it was the vice versa thing.
So
Um,
she's on 12 and she's got six for the masculine.
right. Isn't that
So I'm
wild?
telling her to get more out in public.
I
I'm
I
saying
I I think
stop
that's
playing
the
small.
direction she. No, that's the direction I think her and a lot of these women actually are headed. But
Indeed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now in terms of like, because yeah, I used to be an avid reader before I woke up.
Right,
So I haven't avidly read like the type of topics that I've discussed like on this show over the years, but I
right,
just
right, right.
wanted to ask you
Uh-huh.
in general, given the Pleiadian slash Mayan, etc., lineage and coding,
Yeah,
and the way that it's laid out, macro, micro, with that strand of continuous 30,
yep.
what did you say, 36,000,
36,000 of these
right,
is
within it, and
precession of the
and
equinox.
then the precession of the equinoxes.
Yeah,
I get a real feel for what you're showing, uh, that it is like, in other words, there is no end time. There is no
right.
greatest point. I mean, unless you
Mhm.
look at it like any point that I'm at is the greatest point or the greatest
Yeah,
potential, whatever. But
yeah,
but in terms of what you've researched,
yeah,
can you share with us a bit, even your own thoughts on what exactly have we stepped into here?
yeah, yeah.
Is it from the information that you have, similar to what some are saying the end of the Kali Yuga was the
Yeah,
last couple of days, and we're literally have flipped the axes and we're in a different place? I mean, can you just
right.
kind of fill in what you know about it?
Okay. Yes. So the big picture of the Mayan calendar, for example, is that everything happens in cycles, and it's a spiral, right? So it's like a big slinky that's going along and along. We are going to readdress things we've already seen before, but with a new perspective, a higher perspective. Um, a lot of the systems that are in place are poisonous, toxic. Most of them have been made, like, the banking and the politics. Most of them have been made with a purely toxic masculine approach,
Hmm.
which was very functional for 2,500 years, the army, like just the pure force ended up ruling the planet. And we needed it, basically, is what I'm saying, to get us to the point now where there's 8 billion of us, and we've all lived many lifetimes before. Some of us are remembering our past lives when we were a bad guy and a good guy and a wife and a mother and like we've all done them all. And now it's like, okay, we really need to accept the fact that every single human being is a sacred, divine, and holy hologram of each other and God, right?
Mm.
And we're coming through like the Kali Yuga, great. It was a time of, you know, illusion and darkness. And now, like, we're opening up the curtains, cleaning up the dust and the blood and the broken bones. And we're ready to accept the concept of divine sovereignty, which again, in 1992, that phrase came through, divine sovereignty,
Wow.
and also sovereign divinity. We are little mini gods,
Mm.
and no one can actually control us. We can never die, ever. This body does, sure, but we can't. And that is what makes us divine. We are eternal, and we are equal with the co creative force that made this physical universe. So
Right.
it's a trip, dude. It's
So basically, in my simple mind, no,
yeah.
I got you. Just to kind of restate it, make sure I'm on it.
Yep.
Um, we're essentially going we're essentially going to experience, as we move through the spiral,
Yeah.
things we had before, but now it's going to be from a greater awareness. So
Yeah.
instead of like, because I see a lot of the like, oh, the solar flashes come in, everything's going to change tomorrow,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm not making fun of anyone, but I'm just saying
No, no.
it's really not, even though there may have been, let's say, a nexus point or the pole flip point in the last couple of
Yeah.
days,
Right.
it's still something that's going to be created based on the new choices we make as a result of our greater awareness, and therefore there
Yeah.
comes the actual experience that we all share in the future or evolution of the earth or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got it, man. That's how I see it.
Hmm.
Um, Also, I don't think there's a lot of people talk about these gateways and the 1111 gateway and stuff, and that's fine, but there's been 100,000 1111 gateways
Hmm.
in the last 2,000 years, and we're still here right now. So what is that really, right? Well, it is part of the spiral, and I think of it like going up a ring on the electron spin. We can see with a higher perspective that we are spiraling through time and we're moving towards more harmony and more unity. We're moving towards oneness. The Kali Yuga and the whole reptilian drama. You mentioned you interviewed David Icke, right?
Hmm.
I've seen him speak and I've read his books too, and I think the perspective he brought forth was wonderful, but I also think it contained a lot of, separation, us
Hmm.
and them, and fear, and oh, they're
Hmm.
controlling us, and a lot of people spun off on that for
Hmm.
decades and decades. I'm saying no, they are me.
Hmm.
I am reptilian. They're reptilian.
Hmm.
They're Pleiadian. I'm Pleiadian. We're all Arcturian, it's one. We are one.
Right.
And the Mayan saying, In Lakesh Alakin, means I am you, you are me, we are one. Namaste. Like, deal with it. you know?
I mean, if that's actually the conscious navigator,
Yeah,
which would occur because we're now seeing everything from a higher vantage point,
yeah,
then that would be the natural proclivity that the direction that we're going.
that's it.
Let me ask you two questions in one. So
Go ahead.
it would only make sense to me. I'm not trying to be a leading question here, but it would
All
only
right.
make sense to me. And I guess there's plenty of evidence the last 2, 3, 4 years, if you really look at what people have posted and talked about and experienced, which is that time is going away. Time as we know it is going away. If we want
Right,
to call that
right.
Gregorian
Yeah,
and the 24 hours and all that stuff, right?
yeah.
Um, so my question is that the case? And how did the Mayans, how did the Mayans experience their lives at that time? Obviously they didn't have a Gregorian calendar. They did
Right.
have something like this.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know how you would explain something like that, but so do you feel like that's really going to go time as we know it? Like, I mean, really, like, boom, it's gone. We don't, it's just a memory. It doesn't have any influence on us. And two, is there anything you can kind of relate to us in terms of how the Mayans experienced life and kind of dealt with that, I guess, for lack of a better word?
Yeah, yeah. Um, I think we will always wake up in the morning and know that it's a new day.
Mhm.
The sun's not going away. The earth's not going to stop spinning. So there's always going to be that cycle. And that's our biggest cycle is one day. The sun comes up and it goes down and it comes up. So that's not going away. We are gaining the perspective that the Gregorian calendar, was created by dark people with a dark
Mhm.
intent. It's functional. I can leave it on my wall and not feel resentment. It's a connecting point for everyone, so that's not going away anytime soon. Um, but with the Maya, yeah, they didn't, they only had their versions of calendars, and
Right.
this was the master that all of the others connected to, but they had many others as well. that also overlaid with this. And what happened on 2012, December 21st, was all of their other calendars and this one synchronized on the same day. So it's like if you had a giant loop and then a slightly smaller and a smaller and a smaller and a smaller, and they all came together on that one day, and then they all still continue the next day.
So that happened on 2012, December 21, 2012. Wow.
That's right. Yeah. Now, what they say was that was the completion of the precession of the equinoxes. Now we're
Hmm.
entering the next precession, which is another 26,000 years.
So what happened in the 12 years in between? What was that? Was that the old one or was it the middle
12,
ground?
which
Well,
12 years?
December 21st, 2012,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then I mean, did the new procession start the next day? Or
Yeah, basically.
okay, I got you. I got you. I misunderstood you.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I had another one. Let me think of this one.
Go ahead.
Okay, hang on. Let me go back and capture it. This is fascinating. Um, oh, I know what it is. I don't want
Yeah.
to get, and I'm with you, like on the David Icke thing, as an example, certain things that serve us in many
Right.
regards in our lives to
Yeah.
a point, and then we move on, and they no longer serve us. You know,
Right.
they're revered and they help us get here.
Yeah.
But the moon. Now
Yeah.
there's different narratives out there. I mean,
Yep.
I have researched, the time when there was two moons, when there was no moon. I've
Right.
had, people on the show. I mean, even some downloads I received years and years ago, um, when I didn't know what was going on. But the not so much to question the artificial or not of the moon or the
Yes.
fuckery behind it or whatever the case is,
Yep.
but I'm just curious as to what how did the Mayans look at this? Because it'd be one thing to say, oh, this was a civilization that came up, any of them that may have come up, say, in the last 10, 12,000 years,
Yeah.
and there was a moon and it was part of their life. But this is a link to our all of our lineage ancestrally, let's say particularly from the Pleiades.
Sure.
So that would be a different vantage point that I would only think as our multidimensionally dimensionality comes in, and we gain these memories and gain this wisdom that we forgot, that we would take on those attributes and that level of awareness. But do they ever speak about it? Is there anything written about it?
It's very intriguing, but they didn't really focus on the moon that much.
Hmm.
They did give it a feminine
Hmm.
goddess
Hmm.
named Ixchel, which is spelled IX and
Okay.
then Chel, Ixchel. And they said she's the goddess of the moon and femininity, but the moon's not on here, you
Right.
know?
Right.
They don't really they knew the precise length of time for one lunation, and what they actually did was chart the uh, lunar and solar eclipses. So back, one of the few remaining books of theirs is called the Dresden Codex. Now the Spanish burned thousands of books, but they kept four and brought them back to Europe. And they're in four different places right now. One of them is in Germany, Dresden. And in the Dresden Codex, which is 1,300 years old, they predicted all of the lunar eclipses for like the next 2,000 years. In the Dresden Codex was last week.
Wow.
We had the lunar eclipse. That's in the
And
book that's 1,300 years old. Like,
wow.
they didn't really focus on the moon per se, not a 39, not a
Well,
29 day
it's like you
cycle.
said, it's not on those images.
Yeah, no,
Those
no.
yeah, and I think it's interesting because, well, I mean, I think we talked about this the other day, but so just as they had the wherewithal correctly project the eclipses
Yep.
into the future,
Yeah.
they also had hard evidence of like the Sirius binary system, which wasn't
Yes.
even Yeah, or Pleiades.
Yeah,
I think we talked about
yeah,
that the other day. I had just come across the fact that many of them are told from the get-go we're from the Pleiades.
yes.
Um, yeah, I was just wondering because, but it makes sense to me. Almost like, okay, here's our stuff, and then there's a new twist on it, and we have the knowledge to figure it out. Basically, that's what they did.
Yeah, and there's a lot that's still hidden and we're still discovering,
Mm, mm,
like they're still discovering new Mayan pyramids,
mm.
you know. This new LiDAR technology is like, oh shit, here's a village that probably had 40,000 people we didn't even know was there. So they're still peeling away the layers and finding out new information. I personally think they're going to find more Mayan texts,
Really?
similar to like the 1947, they
Oh,
found
the
all of
Dead Sea
those.
Scrolls or
Yeah,
the
right.
Nag
I'm thinking
Hammadi?
they're going to find a bunch of Mayan stuff that have been preserved because they knew the Spanish were coming. They knew that shit was going to hit the fan, and I think they hid a lot of stuff which hasn't been discovered yet.
That's
It's
wild.
only been 500 years.
I'm over here in Mexico and
Yeah.
and we've been holed up and
Yep.
it's like many of us going getting acclimated and integrating and getting prepared for whatever we've walked into, all of us.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's funny, my daughter, my youngest kid, came down to Mexico City 3 or 4 months ago,
Right.
and she's an artist, and and she went to some museums, and she sent me some pictures, and uh, she goes, Dad, you got to go to this museum in Mexico City. It's called such and such.
Yeah.
It's full of ETs. And
Oh,
she sends me these pictures, and
yeah.
they're literally full of these figurines and so on. And I'm
Yeah, yeah.
thinking, wow, now there's another twist. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, like the relationship between like the Ant people and the Navajo and the Hopis,
Yeah.
or so many other. I've been reading more. I've been on X for about 3 months now. I'm just kind of getting,
Okay.
but it's interesting now because my algorithms are changing and I'm starting to
Yeah.
see this kind of information that I only
Right.
used to see. You know what I mean? And
Right.
there's a lot of people digging up a lot of stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think I'm excited about where we're headed and where
Oh,
we're
yeah.
at. I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know what the hell's going to happen, but the
Right. Right.
last thing I'm worried about is the global movie script, no matter what that may be, war, famine, whatever it is.
Yep.
I'm more excited about the internal expansion that seems to be happening with so many people,
Yeah.
and that you might say the word of that getting out,
Yeah.
and all that that brings.
Right. Well,
That's
that's a
pretty
big part of
wild.
what this message is.
Mm,
Like it all comes back to you.
mm,
No matter what's going on out there, it all comes back. How are you doing right now? How do you feel?
yeah,
How are you? Are you okay? And that's why paying attention to this is fun. It's like,
mm,
oh, good, today's my day, or, tomorrow's going to be a brighter day, or whatever, right? You learn the patterns and you learn the cycles and the energy flow. You get used to that new flow. And I use it to plan my life. I do things according to this, you
right.
know?
And that has worked pretty good for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, you definitely speaks through, comes through in your energy, and I'm sure that your teenagers and your partner, y'all have a really good symmetry, you know. Um,
Yep.
um,
It's,
so
a good
why don't
connection.
we jump on your page real quick before
Yeah,
we
yeah,
get out
yeah.
of here? I want to make sure that people can get to you.
Do you want me to share my screen again for that?
If you want to, yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, that's easy. So there's your screenshots. Close those down. Ooh, interesting. All right. Um, my hello. So my
What
YouTube
is it?
channel, Mayan Embodiment is Soul Cartography.
Okay, so I put that next to your name on all three of the platforms, so they'll
Good,
be able to
super,
reference that.
awesome.
Okay, go.
Yep. And then my website is mayanembodiment.com.
Okay.
Very simple.
Okay. All
And
right.
I do daily readings on my personal page on Facebook. Oh, there's you and me. Look at that. And I also have a Mayan Embodiment astrology page.
On
So you don't
Facebook.
have to friend up with
Oh
some
yeah, yeah.
freaky guy like me if you don't want, but you can just follow my page here. And, there's a video I made yesterday, Pleiadian, Lemuria.
Now
And
that's your video. That
yeah, I made
can you go
that
back?
yesterday.
Oh, so
It's
that
just
is
reading,
Pleiadian perspective.
it's just reading this book. I did a audio book for this book.
Okay, I got you. I got you. And
Yeah,
can you go a little bit lower on that page again? I saw something I
yeah,
want
yeah.
to.
That right here
Whoa, right
is,
there. There's the
that's,
balancing. Hell, that's weird. The balancing jaguar and shaman.
that's today.
That's
That's
cool.
today for you. I'm
Okay.
on the next day.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And
So I do
wow.
daily
All right.
readings, and here's all of the key code words for tone 6 and the Jaguar Shaman.
Okay. Third
So,
eye chakra. That doesn't surprise me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I talk a little bit about the calendar every day on this page.
Hmm.
And, it's a huge part of my life, man. Like, I do readings for people. On my website here, you can go into the readings, and my blog comes up here. And this tells about the types of readings. The first one's very simple. I just do the glyph and tone.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is also simple, but it comes with the calendar,
Hmm.
a full year calendar. And then the third one is the real juicy one. And, these questions are optional. I say you don't have to answer these questions for me, but I like to get to know my clients. And, I ask them, what's your intention? And what is some block to fulfillment?
Hmm.
And what are some previous shadow work you've already done? And what substances do you use? And these are all optional. I'm not forcing
Hmm.
anyone to answer these, but they really help me do the reading for them because I fully understand we're all traumatized beings here. We're
Hmm.
all victimized in many ways, and we're coming out of the whole concept of victimhood,
Hmm.
and into empowerment. And then, I talk about the couples reading. And, if I do two people, I do all of that stuff for the two of them, and
Hmm.
then a combined reading. So that's all on my website there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very
So
cool. So now everybody knows where to find you.
yeah, I'm not
Facebook,
hiding.
YouTube, and your website. Hey, let me ask you something before we get
Go
out of here.
ahead.
I'm just curious, your
Yeah, yeah.
thoughts. We talked about Pleiadians.
Yep.
Obviously, um, there's something in the air.
Oh,
What are
yeah.
your thoughts? And I know as humans, we always want to, have the 100% verification and
Right.
the physical experience, and many of us have had, well, anything from apparitions to downloads, and it's got a Pleiadian nature to it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on, um, how would I say this? A closer contact with
Yep.
our Pleiadian
Yep. Yep. Yep.
family and aspects. Do you see that as being part of the natural evolution in terms of they couldn't come until we reached a certain point?
That is, I think, the best framework for it. We weren't
Mm.
ready to receive their, spaceship on the lawn and handshaking. I don't think we were ready for that, and I think we're close.
Mm.
I've been following the channelers. I do. I listen to them. I hear what they're saying. Um, I think there will be physical contact, open contact.
Open, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty soon. like a lot of us are saying, though, we know that they're out there, and they know that we're getting ready. Um, I don't put a date on it,
No,
and I don't. I'm not hinging anything on it either, right?
no, I got you.
Like once it happens, hopefully it'll be the springboard into a new awakening, right?
Yeah. Well, it definitely could be the impetus for the catalyst for
Yeah.
you know. Um
Massive
and
change.
yeah,
Hopefully, it would bring about the end of this dark negative
mm,
control that we've been subject to for
mm,
thousands of years, right?
yeah,
First of all, what I want to see is free energy,
yeah,
zero pollution.
yeah,
That's it. Stop polluting and free energy like air,
yeah,
energy, water. Those should be free for everyone in the whole world. Hello.
yeah,
The end
yeah.
of poverty,
Mm.
the end of negative control. So, yay, if Pleiadians bring that to us, super. I mean, we could do it ourselves. We haven't,
Right.
but that's all I want to see is freedom, you know?
Yeah. No, I think we all want the same thing. That's what I was saying
Yeah,
today. Yeah, I
pretty
think
much.
just a matter of how do we get there, and seems
Yeah.
like the intel and the methodology is starting to converge. As my
Yeah,
wife always says, to the one voice. You know what I mean?
right, right, right. Unity is coming through, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the thing. As soon as there's one ET race that comes down, they're going to be like, oh yeah, and here's these other 4,000 races, that
I s-
we're in contact with.
yeah. I saw I was taking a break today and I saw a short video.
Right.
And of course, you can see anything out there. I mean, you got to
Yep.
discern for yourself, but it seemed pretty legit. It was an older video, actually,
Right.
kind of like an interview format, almost like videotape era.
Cool.
And the dude was talking, and he was saying he wasn't, it was secondhand from someone that he knew. So it was firsthand from that person, that experienced it and then told his
Yep.
buddy.
Got it.
And he says that his buddy was in the government, high security clearance. And this is way
Right.
back, like I'm talking like 25, 30 years or something.
Got it.
And so he says, the strangest thing is, in all the meetings my friend went into, or maybe it was him, I don't remember, no one ever, with all these government, and these other, people, no one ever mentioned the word alien or ET. They
Okay.
always referred to them as those people.
Those people.
And I thought, well, there you go. Like
Yeah.
it could be that, it could be that real, that they're
Well, I
just,
think the
a
biggest
higher.
shock is going to be that they really look just like us,
Mm,
Like this bipedal five-fingered thing
mm,
is really common, and that's where this fits in too. This is
mm,
DNA for thousands of planets,
mm,
you know? This
mm.
this matches a lot of human DNA, which is all over the universe, or certainly all over the Milky Way galaxy.
Yeah. Wow, man. Thank you for coming on in short notice. But I think that's how things flow now. It's just, I had no
Yep,
idea it was morning in Japan. I didn't even know you lived in Japan
I
until my
do.
wife reminded me. I didn't pick up that the other day. Uh, but yeah, man, thanks a lot. And blessings of grace to you and your family and to your work and everything. And maybe we can get together again and talk about some of this again and some of the changes that are
I would
happening. If
love
you're
to.
open to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
I would love to.
All right, everybody. Mayan embodiment, uh, soul cartography. Uh, you can listen to the end of it. Look at the name on the announcement and on the video, or if you need to get in touch with him, he's on Facebook, or you can go through me. But yes, thank you very much for sharing everything with us, Crispy, and yeah, best of everything to you.
Thank you so much. My absolute pleasure. In Lakesh Alakin. Namaste.
Namaste.
Till next time.